And we're back with another episode working on stuff out in the garage. Today we're changing gears and we're going to be working on my daily driver, my 2010 Subaru Impreza 2.5i with a 5-speed, no turbo. We are going to be installing a fresh new fuel pump assembly into the vehicle. You may have noticed you can see my breath today. I do not have the space heater on. Anytime you're doing anything with fuel or fuel systems, you should not have any flame, any sparks, none of that. Also remember to disconnect your battery before working on the fuel system. Now with the Subaru Impreza, it has an in-tank system. Everything is inserted into the tank, including the filter, which means you have to buy a full assembly. Something like this. It comes with everything that you need. All you have to do is basically drop it in and then disconnect your fuel pressure line and your return line and then your plug on the top, and it's basically ready to go. So it's fairly easy to do with just minor steps to get to that point. Now I went with the import direct version of the fuel pump assembly just from O'Reilly's. There is the part number for you. So I went ahead and cut out a couple of the steps for you. Battery's disconnected, the seat is also removed, and some of the screws that hold the fuel pump into the tank. Now just disconnecting your positive terminal should be plenty. When in doubt, you can remove both. I just have the positive removed. That should be just fine. And there is the lower portion of the back seat of the Subaru. It's pretty easy to get out. I did have to look around a little bit to try and figure it out. Down underneath, there is a little pull pin here that kind of holds the bracket in place or holds the little prong. I did end up kind of breaking the plastic a little because it is cold out here. And there's also one on the other side. And then it just kind of rests into these hooks, and it's pretty simple. Now, when you're looking at the top side of the fuel tank, there is a cover with 4 screws. I disconnected the plug over here, pushed the rubber boot through, just so I can get the metal cover out of the way enough. And then your top plug is just a little push pin right here, and then it slips right off. And then you have your high pressure and your return. I already got those disconnected. I also removed or relieved pressure in the tank by removing the gas cap. You probably don't have to really do that portion. I've already had the car sitting maybe 5 days, so there shouldn't really be a lot of pressure in the fuel system. You could also try and run the car completely empty if you have the ability to. My car was misfiring really bad and the spark plugs were white, which typically means it's running lean. So we're tackling this right now. I haven't changed the fuel filter in a very long time, so that's all in the assembly as well. Now once you have that metal cover off, there's 8 nuts on the top of that. I broke those loose already. I did spray a little bit of penetrating oil on them. They were a little bit rusty. They have never came out of here, I don't think, unless the previous owner had removed the fuel pump for some reason. Now it should be ready to just come off. There's a metal cover. This portion comes off first, and then we will be able to take the fuel pump assembly out of the tank. Just be careful of the float. It kind of sticks off to the side. You'll kind of have to wiggle that out and around. Now I'll set you guys up so you can see me pulling that fuel system out, and then we'll kind of take a look at the two just to make sure there isn't any differences between the two fuel pump assemblies. They should be fine. This is just an OEM replacement. Now, like I was saying, it's the metal piece on top that kind of holds the whole unit down. Kind of wiggle this down and around in here. Just like that. Make sure the lines are kind of out of the way. We should be able to lift this thing right up and out of here. I did clean around the fuel system first just to make sure that no debris falls in the tank. But that is also why you have a filter. I believe it's got a drain down into the tank here. So just give it a little bit, just like that. And it is full of gas, so just be careful of that. And of course this happened when I have basically a full tank of gas. Now just looking at the two side by side, they look identical. Everything is basically the same. We do need to take these couple of plastic clips off of those lines and put them onto the new tank, and I think that's all we have to do. Everything else should be ready to go, and we can drop this right back into the fuel tank. All right, we are all set to drop the new one into the tank. So we'll do that very carefully here. Get that float down in there first. hold your lines up out of the way the best you can. Set it in there nice and easy so you don't overflow the tank, especially when it's full like mine is. Nice and easy. I believe it's there. Yep, just like that. Get the clip spun. We can't hook up the lines just yet because we need that metal piece back over it. So I'll slide that in real quick. Hold the lines up out of the way. Wiggle it down in. Kind of awkward because it doesn't want to stay in one spot. Once you got it pressed in, start getting the nuts back on there to hold it in place. Now we can get the lines pressed back on. Pretty simple with those clips. Both those on. Now get the electrical connector on there. Just like so. Then slide this thing back through. There is a foam seal that goes around down here. It's not super great condition anymore. However, it should still work. And we got the 4 screws that hold this on there. And we're just about done. And then the last plug over here. Now that it's all buttoned up, just got to put the back seat back in here, reconnect the battery up front, and then we'll give it a test start. Hopefully the misfire is gone because it was pretty bad. Had a really hard time getting home from work the other day. Could barely get on the throttle and it was falling on its face. So being that it's a brand new fuel pump and assembly in there, it should have soaked up enough fuel by now, but cycle the key a couple of times so that it can actually prime the fuel system. Yep, you can definitely hear it. And then you can hear my CD player. Well, we'll give it a shot. Try and start it up. It's idling smoother already. I think we're good. We'll just have to check for leaks, make sure nothing is leaking under there. It should be okay though. Everything seemed to seal up really nice. So it's been idling for a couple minutes. It sounds like it's okay. There's been a couple of little hiccups and it might just be air in the fuel system, but way better than before. The other day when I pulled it into the garage, it was not sounding good at all. Much better, pretty easy install. And that's gonna wrap up today's video. Nice, quick, easy install. The car's running much better now. Went and took it out for a little spin just around the block, and it's not hiccuping quite as bad as it was. I think I need to get some spark plugs and plug wires again. It's been a little while since I got those replaced. Just always remember, keep up on your maintenance on your vehicles, otherwise they're not going to run the way they should. If you like this video, smash that like button, drop a comment down below. Thanks for watching, stay tuned for the next one.